Trey Gowdy's new role in Trump's White House has Obama very pissed off. Dust off your Constitution, brush up on the Bill of Rights, and while you're at it, take a look at the Declaration of Independence. Congressman Trey Gowdy has been given a new role within the Trump administration, and although it hasn't yet been officially announced, you can bet those progressive lawmakers who subscribe to playing fast and loose with our institutions might do well to rip up the Obama-Clinton progressive playbook in how to subvert our laws. Gowdy represents South Carolina's 4th District, and gained national attention for his constitutional powers, and his fidelity to the rule of law. He is one of the few members in Congress who can define complex legal jargon, so that everyone can understand it, regardless, and he's also respected as a fierce, unrelenting adversary. However, always far in his approach, and seldom grandstands for political expediency. According to reports, Gowdy will be named to head up the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, which means he'll be one of President Trump's top intelligence men within government. Gowdy was the chairman of the Select Committee on Benghazi, and he will now be tasked with the oversight of the United States intelligence community in his new committee. Protecting the safety and security of our fellow citizens is the preeminent function of government, Gowdy said in a statement, according to the Greenville News. When it comes to our national security, we cannot afford to take risks. Gowdy continued, the House Intelligence Committee plays a vital role in protecting Americans both at home and abroad through conducting thorough oversight of our nation's intelligence agencies. This announcement by the incoming Trump administration signals a new era for our intelligence community, in that the days of incompetence and willful malfeasance when it comes to our national security interests will no longer be tolerated. Lawmakers and those individuals within a Trump administration will adhere to the highest standards in protecting America's vital interests. Trump's financial records prove liberals wrong again. He cut many business ties prior to his inauguration in January of this year. It was 98 pages of financial records, and it showed that he made millions of dollars just in the first quarter of this year from his worldwide hotels. He does have $315 million in liabilities. The president turned $360 million from 20 of his resort and golf businesses. His new hotel in D.C. earned $20 million in revenue. The president has at least $1.4 billion in assets. He actually eliminated 500 of his business ties during this time, and he broke many of them prior to taking office in January. The New York Times couldn't find the ties to Russia that they so desperately wanted, and it makes everyone laugh that they have failed again. The financial transactions are accounted for, but it doesn't include his net worth or how much he has shelled to the U.S. government. Assets and debts of the president are accounted for. Another fail by the mainstream media, and they're not catching on that Trump is about to do something huge. He gave out his financial records to provide fodder for the fake news media to keep them distracted so he can fix more problems in Washington. He needs to fire Mueller and shut this whole false investigation down. It's been 7 months and there has been no shred of proof. It's time for them to let this go. The fake news media is stupid, and they will pull a thread that doesn't exist just to try and make Trump look bad. Trump's newest executive order just won him re-election. President Trump continues to keep his promises. And while many are related to ideological issues, others will have a very real impact on the day-to-day lives of millions of Americans. His newest executive order is among the latter. A move that will provide jobs to millions and boost our economy in ways that are going to make Barack Obama howl with rage. President Trump has decided to make it a whole lot easier for companies in America to hire apprentices. And he's going to pour a lot more money into encouraging companies to do so. President Donald Trump acted Thursday to demolish a bureaucratic infrastructure that he said needed to be removed to allow America's companies to create apprenticeships that will provide jobs for millions. To do so, he signed an executive order that will more than double the amount of money delegated to apprenticeship programs from $90 million to almost $200 million annually. Trump also vowed to increase federal grants to support companies that launch apprenticeship programs in fields such as information technology, as well as more traditional areas like the construction trades. He said the money to support these apprenticeships would come from underperforming job training programs. Currently, apprenticeships must meet federal requirements, making the creation of new apprenticeship program a complex and complicated process. After signing the order, Trump stated, "We have regulations on top of regulations. And in history, nobody has gotten rid of so many regulations as the Trump administration. And that's one of the reasons that you see the jobs and the companies all kicking in so strongly." The Department of Labor to date has been very prescriptive and very restrictive on the apprenticeship programs, but the Department of Labor is not an expert as to various individual sectors and what the qualifications are. So we're going to let the industry put forth its proposals as to what should make up a high-quality apprenticeship program. But the Department of Labor still sits over and above it and still adjudicates it at the end of the day. Apprenticeships teach striving Americans the skills they need to operate incredible machines. And some of these machines are so intricate, so powerful, and, really, the word is, they are incredible. This is not the old days, this is new and computerized and complicated, and you really have to know what you're doing. Watch Newt Gingrich justified huge risks in order to leak the who's really behind Skylies shooting. Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, RGA, appearing on the popular Fox News show outnumbered only hours after the horrific targeted ambush assault on congressional Republicans, was asked about the increasing violence directed towards conservatives and perhaps even more ominous our elected officials. The speaker, still visibly disturbed by the senseless attack, didn't hold back when asked about the violence and hostility directed by the left to incite violence. "It's part of a pattern," Gingrich said, "an increasing intensity of hostility on the left." It was also apparent by the brief video clip that Speaker Gingrich wasn't in a benevolent mood when co-host Melissa Francis attempted to put a happy face of the near-tragic event, by suggesting that perhaps the speaker should be a bit more forgiving. At which point Gingrich cut Francis off by reminding her that violence and intimidation toward conservatives on colleges has gotten more and more extreme. "Look, I talk to college students regularly," Gingrich continued, "who say that if they are openly for Trump, they get threatened. I've had college students tell me they get threatened with being beaten up, some of them get death threats," he said. Gingrich pauses a moment to collect his thoughts and continues, "The intensity is very real. Whether it's a so-called comedian holding up the president's head covered in blood, or right here in New York City, a play that shows the president being assassinated, or it's Democratic leading national politicians using vulgarity because they can't find any common language to talk. No doubt the speaker is correct when one considers that the well-orchestrated assault by a lone deranged shooter began with the shooter asking if the lawmakers on the baseball field practicing were either Democrats or Republicans. When the response came back Republican, the carnage began. Moreover, it's only by the grace of God there was a security detail in place to respond to the madman, return fire and take him down. If not, Speaker Gingrich might very well be attending mass funerals today. "30 Democrats found meeting with Russian diplomats for Obama, liberals completely silent." Washington Democrats are all pointing the finger at Attorney General Jeff Sessions on allegations of inappropriate conversations with Russia. The Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post allege that Sessions had 2 conversations with Russia's ambassador to the U.S. while still a senator. They argued that during his confirmation hearing he did not disclose these 2 random conversations that had nothing to do with the campaign that was going on at the time. On the day of his confirmation hearing, Senator Al Frankenstein asked if there was any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government in the course of this 2016 campaign. "What would you do?" To which Sessions responded, "I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or 2 in that campaign and I did not have communications with the Russians." He was speaking in the context of campaign issues and that's not what his meeting was about. His conversations with the Russian ambassador were when he was a member of the Armed Services Committee, according to his spokeswoman Sarah Isker Flores. The ACLU and both minority leaders of Congress are calling for investigations and resignations, but there are at least 30 Democrat senators who've spoken with Russian ambassadors. Where's the outrage about this? Breaking: Hillary is finished. State Department just released its evidence. Earlier Monday evening, the State Department released an email exchange between Hillary Clinton and her top aide Huma Abedin that used Clinton's private email server to send classified information. This is the nuclear bomb needed to finally take down Hillary Clinton. Who knew that it would take Anthony Weiner to bring down Hillary Clinton for good? According to Judicial Watch today released 323 pages of new Department of State documents, including previously unreleased email exchanges in which Clinton and top aide Huma Abedin sent classified information over Clinton's ClintonMail.com unsecure email system. According to Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, exemptions cited in the documents obtained by Judicial Watch, 3 of the Clinton-Abedin email exchanges contain material classified to protect national security. This is huge. Not even Hillary Clinton can get out of this. Also included in the newly obtained documents is an additional instance of the State Department doing special favors for a high-dollar Clinton Foundation donor. And the documents include instances of the distribution by State Department officials of Clinton's government schedule to members of the Clinton Foundation staff. The documents contain not previously turned over to the State Department, bringing the known total to date of such emails uncovered by Judicial Watch to 238 new Clinton emails, not part of the 55,000 pages of emails that Clinton turned over to the State Department. These records further appear to contradict statements by Clinton that, as far as she knew, all of her government emails were turned over to the State Department. The new records include 3 separate Clinton-Abedin email exchanges withheld in part from Judicial Watch under the State Department's B-1 FOIA exemption, applying to information that is classified to protect national security. The emails also include an exchange between Abedin, Clinton personal assistant Lauren Gillidy, and Iris Anaya, the assistant to sugar magnate and Clinton Foundation donor Alfonso Fangul, concerning a request for special access to Clinton. On October 13, 2009, Anaya emailed Abedin seeking to arrange a meeting between Fangul, the CEO of Florida Crystals, and Clinton. Gillidy responded the next day, asking that Anaya talk with Clinton scheduler Lona Valmoro about setting up a meeting. Fangul donated more than $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation and was a Bill Clinton co-chairman in Florida. In an October 26, 2009, email exchange, power attorney and Hillary Clinton financial supporter, Charlie Ann Cypriot, contacted Doug Band, apparently seeking help in getting around U.S. Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC, restrictions on U.S. citizens' ability to travel to Cuba. Cypriot ostensibly wanted a waiver from the restrictions to enable people from her organization, Sikh Charitable Foundation, to travel to Cuba, noting, "We are not asking for something out of the ordinary." Not only did Hillary Clinton perjure herself, but this is proof of everything that she was convicted of. You can read the full emails here. This is amazing.